released their 4th studio album, A Place Where the Sun is Silent, and they're here tonight rocking at Mr. Small's Theater in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Alesana is playing tonight, and we're so pumped. We're going to get to talk to Shawn in just a little bit, find out what the band's been up to, and about a 5th album on the way. Stay tuned. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. We're here with Shawn from Alesana. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Yeah, sure. We are so excited to be talking with you today. So, how is tour going so far?
It's going very well. This is 1 weekend, I think, right now, but the show's been great.
All right. And have you guys had any cool stories or anything so far from tour?
No, the only funny thing that happened was the one night we parked to sleep. We always sleep in the van.
Okay.
And this crazy old man like banged on the window and asked us to help him pump his gas. But it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, and we just drove away. It was really creepy. Like it didn't look like it was going to end well if we did that.
Well, I'm glad you guys are
he had a really
here
big
in one piece.
truck too. Is expected to get thrown in the back if you wanted to help him. So it was a little weird.
All right. Well, yeah, that's definitely a story. Well, we're glad you made it here in one piece. So, all right. So I'm going to ask you guys from the beginning, how did the band get started?
In Baltimore, actually. I was in a punk rock band and met Pat through that. And we decided we wanted to do something a little heavier, a little bit more melodic, and that's why we're called Alesana, actually, because we were writing together on Alesana Street in Baltimore. Okay. So that's kind of where we came from.
Oh, that's wonderful. I was going to ask you where the name came from.
Yeah.
All right. Do you think your first album really made the band take off, or anything specific shows that you guys played?
I think it was a combination of both. We would, when we first started touring, we would never come home. We were gone for 17 months straight when we started. It was like we started from booking our own tours, and then one band would find us, take us for a little bit, and then we actually ended up on tour with From Autumn to Ashes, who were like heroes of ours, which was crazy. And that all happened like the blink of an eye. It was like a year and a half of nonstop touring, and I think that's kind of what did it for us.
How was that touring for so long without a break?
I mean, grueling, but when it's your dream, you'll do whatever it takes.
Awesome. So tell us about your latest album, A Place Where the Sun is Silent.
Mm-hmm.
What's the story behind it, or what about the writing process?
It is the prequel of a trilogy that we're doing. It actually happens, all the events happened prior to the previous record. And then we're actually writing our new record now, which is the sequel, so it's the end of the trilogy. The Place Where the Sun is Silent was just kind of one of those really trippy, spacey things where you're seeing what's going inside of his mind while the stuff from the previous story was happening.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. And it was loosely based around like the themes in Dante's Inferno. Okay.
And when you guys write your music, do you write the vocals and the other players do their job, or is it all collaborative?
Most of the collaboration comes between Patrick and myself. We do the music together, the vocal melodies together, and Dennis and I do the lyrics and the story writing and everything like that. So it's kind of gotten down to a system where it's funny, when you first start, you try to feel each other out, but now it's like a science for us. It's like this happens, then that happens, and happens. And
so you guys are pros by now.
I guess so.
Awesome. Do you guys have any musical influences when you write, or is it all on your own?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, everybody has influences, but people would probably be surprised by a lot of our influences because it's generally bands that sound absolutely nothing like us. But I think that's important, because if you're using bands that sound like you as influence, then you're just going to end up sounding like those bands. I think it's kind of cool. We've always brought in a wide range of influences.
So if we were to go on your iPod right now, what would we find that you're listening to?
I have been listening nonstop to the new Sigur Rós record.
Okay.
It is just one of the greatest things I've heard in years. I cannot stop. I was listening to it right before I walked out here. I'm obsessed.
Awesome. Do you think that fans are going to expect something different on the next part of the trilogy, or is it going to be more of a continuation of the same style?
No, we've always been a little bit different on every record, for better or for worse. Some bands are comfortable with maintaining the exact same elements throughout, which, I have plenty of bands I love that do that. But for us, we always try to add something a little bit different or a little bit stranger, and that's going to happen again, for sure.
And when can we expect to hear this, or still in the process?
When we get home from this, we start pre-production. I'm actually producing the new record in my studio, which is awesome. New experience for me. And we're on my record label now, which is Revolver Recordings, and it should be out this fall, hopefully.
Tell us a little bit about your label. That's wonderful.
I started it about midway through last year, and it was always the end goal for me was to start it, because I knew eventually it's kind of like passing the torch. You can't tour forever, and I've always wanted to find young bands and young talent and help them live the same dreams that I've been able to experience, and kind of mentor them and things like that. Actually, the band that's opening this tour, Me Gosh, they're signed to Revival. They're our newest band. They're incredible. You should definitely check them out.
Wow, good for you. That's really great.
Thank you.
Do you plan on doing that full time after Alesana's done? Or?
Absolutely, and it's funny because for me, Alesana will never be done. It changes, like everything in life. We might not be touring 300 days out of the year anymore, but it's still alive. It's still well. It's still everything that got me to where I am, and to me, it will never go away. I will always be making Alesana records.
That's great. Do you guys have any really memorable experiences that you want to share with your fans so far?
As far as what?
Any shows that particularly over the past few years that really stuck out to you, or any cool awards that you guys have won?
The one, well, if you want to talk about awards, that we actually won Revolver Magazine Song of the Year. I think it was in 2011, which I never would have ever expected anything like that.
What was going through your mind when you won that?
Just surreal. Like, it just doesn't. I still don't even understand how we won. Like, to have fans that are that supportive and get behind a song that we wrote is just incredible to me. And then as far as shows, it's crazy because we've been touring for so long, but this goes back almost 8 years. We played a venue, got shut down the night we were playing it. Like, as we loaded in, the guy came and said, "Oh, we just got shut down. We can't have the show." So we ended up playing like the second floor of a record store that was probably the size of the area that we're sitting in right now. And there was no PA and nothing. Like, it was just, but everybody just sang and climbed all over each other, and it was incredible. It was rock and roll.
Wow,
Yeah.
That's a great memory. Very cool. What would you say is one of the most hardest things that you've had to accomplish or go through to get to where you are right now?
I think as an artist, the hardest thing is always that for every person who likes you, there's going to be somebody who doesn't like you, and getting through that. And because at first you really get bothered by it. It's like, why would you hate us so much, and this, that, and the other. But as you grow and you mature as songwriters, you realize that there's no way you can please everybody. Some people just don't want to like you, or just don't like you. And I think that's been the biggest challenge as artists, is realizing that you can't please everybody.
Yeah. Do you guys have anything on your off days from touring, or when you're not on tour, that you guys like to do for fun, like frisbee or bowling or anything?
I'm a gigantic sports fan.
Yeah?
I'm originally from Philadelphia, and I'm an obsessive Phillies fan. I have their logo on my neck,
Okay.
the lineup on my leg from 2012, and so baseball is everything.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball and my family is what I do.
How is balancing family life with tour? Is that difficult?
It's very difficult. My son just turned 1 2 days before I left for this tour, and he's starting to get to the age too where when I leave, he knows I'm gone, and it makes it really hard for sure. But I am who I am, and I do what I do because of that, and he'll eventually realize that, which is awesome.
Yeah, I bet he's gonna be so pumped to know that was doing all these shows together. It's awesome. Well, my last question for you is, what advice do you have for bands that want to follow in your footsteps?
To never give up. I know it sounds really, really cheesy, but if it was easy, everybody would do it. So it's the hard part that makes it rewarding.
All right. Well, hey, thank you so much for taking time out of your day before the show. We'll definitely be excited for that album when it comes out, where it'll definitely be worth the wait.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a great show. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.